Alright, this one really makes you think. Two brothers disappear in Alaska, but not together. 11 years apart. Same family, same mystery, no clear answers. I'm Kamar. Let's break it down. It's June 4th, 1999 in Wasilla, Alaska, a small, tough town about 40 miles from Anchorage, where the environment is harsh and surviving it is part of everyday life. 15-year-old Michael Palmer is supposed to be staying over at a friend's house that night. Instead, he sneaks out with 3 other teens, grabs a bike, and heads to a late-night graduation party about 9 miles away. This wasn't some hidden or exclusive event. It was graduation weekend and parties were happening all over town. But what happens after that party is where things start to become unclear. According to state troopers, Michael and the others left around 4 a.m., riding their bikes back home.
Biking back toward home. Michael is riding a little behind the group. Not far, just enough to lag. Nothing seems wrong, no yelling, no crash, no sounds that suggest anyone's in trouble. At some point, the others realize he's no longer behind them. They pull into a convenience store parking lot and wait, figuring he'll catch up. Maybe he's slower. Maybe he took a wrong turn. Maybe he just needs a minute. They don't hear anything. They don't see anything. No sign that he needs help. When he doesn't show up, they eventually assume he must have gone home another way, because at 4 in the morning, that explanation feels reasonable. But Michael never gets home. By the following afternoon, his mom starts calling around. She phones the friend's house where he was supposed to have stayed the night. And that's when it becomes clear Michael isn't there. At 3 p.m., roughly 11 hours after he vanished, Michael Palmer is reported missing. And that's when the search begins. As it gets underway, investigators focus on one detail that immediately raises questions. A bicycle is pulled from the Little Susitna River, and troopers say it's the one Michael was riding that night. But Michael's older brother Chris looks at it and says, no, that's not it. And even if it were, there's another problem. Michael had no reason to be anywhere near that river. The route the boys took home doesn't cross it. He wouldn't have been riding over a bridge there. There's no obvious reason he'd end up in the water at all. Still, some people wonder if maybe he fell in and died from hypothermia. Alaska, cold water, late at night. It's an easy explanation to reach for, except the evidence doesn't back it up. Tracker dogs don't pick up his scent near the river. Searchers don't see anything in the water, and the river is clear enough that if a body were there, someone likely would have spotted it. And then another detail surfaces that only adds to the confusion. A pair of wet, muddy Converse shoes is found. Same brand, same size Michael wore, placed neatly near a private airstrip. Not tossed, not scattered, placed. Search dogs are brought into the area, but they can't track Michael's scent at all, which doesn't answer anything. It just leaves everyone grasping for other explanations. There are rumors. According to the Anchorage Daily News, Chris hears talk that fights broke out at the house party that night. He hears the same rumor from enough people to make him believe something bad happened to his brother there. But that's the problem. There's never any proof, no witnesses who saw anything concrete, no evidence pointing to anyone specific, just a missing 15-year-old, a bike in a place it doesn't make sense to be, and a lot of unanswered questions. And that's where Michael Palmer's story stops, with no trace of him ever found. So here's the Palmer family setup. There's one sister and 3 brothers. Chris is the oldest. Chucky is the middle kid, and Michael is the baby of the family. And once Michael disappears, that dynamic changes forever. Because from that point on, everything in this family revolves around these same unanswered questions.
What really happened to him? And then 11 years later, the same question comes back, this time for Chucky. Fast forward to Saturday, April 10th, 2010. Now it's Chucky Palmer. He's on what's basically a guy's trip. Chucky, his older brother Chris, their stepfather, and a couple of friends heading into the mountains north of Wasilla for a few days of snow machine riding through the wilderness. It's a typical Alaska outing. Get out there, ride, and clear your mind. Chucky is 31, and even on his best days, he's not the most experienced rider. This time, he's also using a brand new snow machine he just bought, so everything still feels unfamiliar. Normally, that wouldn't be a problem because Chris always rides at the back, keeping an eye on everyone and making sure no one, especially Chucky, falls behind. But this time, something small changes everything. The handlebar on Chris's snow machine suddenly breaks, forcing him to stay behind at the cabin while the rest of the group heads out.
At least that's how it's described at the time, according to the Anchorage Daily News. And once again, a Palmer brother rides off and is never seen again. According to the group, everything is fine for most of the day. They ride the trails, loop through the woods, nothing out of the ordinary. But as they're heading back toward the cabin on the main trail, things change. Around 7:15 p.m., Chucky becomes separated from the rest of the group. And then, just like that, he's gone. The other riders say the last time they see him, Chucky is traveling in the opposite direction from the cabin. Not far, not dramatically, just enough to notice. Chucky is dressed for the cold, so he's not immediately vulnerable in that sense, but he doesn't have a GPS device. No food, no water. And when they realize he hasn't caught up, they start looking for him. They ride back, they double back, they retrace the trail. Nothing. It's like he just disappears. And if this is starting to sound familiar, that's because it is. Once again, a Palmer brother falls behind. Once again, no one hears a crash or a call for help. And once again, he vanishes into the Alaska wilderness. 11 years after Michael. Chucky is officially reported missing the next morning, and almost immediately, Alaska starts working against everyone. Over that weekend, 28 inches of snow falls. The kind of snow that doesn't just cover tracks, it erases them. A police helicopter can only get in the air on some of the days, and on the ground, the snow is deep, wet, and heavy, making it brutal for searchers on snow machines. Everything is harder, slower, less certain. By Sunday morning, searchers finally find something, Chucky's snow machine. It's about 12 miles from the cabin, but that's where the trail ends. There are no tracks, no signs of a fall, no indication he walked away.
One responder even told local news there was no proof Chucky had ever been in the spot where his snow machine was found, which only deepened the mystery. By Wednesday, Alaska state troopers ended the search. A month later, after some snow melted, they returned. But this time they were looking for remains, not a rescue. Still nothing was found. No gear, no clothing, no trace at all. Once again, the Palmer family was left with the same nightmare. Over time, several theories emerged. One suggests Chucky tried to walk back to the cabin, got lost, and didn't survive the harsh conditions. Others are more extreme, even involving alien abduction. The family, however, believes something darker may have happened, especially linking back to Michael's disappearance in 1999. Law enforcement has mostly leaned toward accidents, saying there's no solid evidence connecting the two cases. In the end, it remains the same haunting reality: two brothers gone years apart and no answers.